Today, Sue Abrahamson from the Waupaca Area Public Library stops by. We'll learn more about a World War II book written by a local author. Max Johnson tells us what SLAG is. Fox Valley Technical College's Spring Extravaganza is coming up and we'll have the details. Learn how you can recycle your old electronics in April, and we'll have the Pet of the Month. I'm Joni Kern, and this is What's Happening Waupaca. Our first guest this afternoon is Sue Abrahamson from the Waupaca Area Public Library. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Joni.
It's good to see you again. It's always
good.
fun to have you on.
Well, thanks. It's always fun to be on.
We're going to talk about a couple of things. You handed me a keychain today. You've got something going on that I wasn't aware that this is a second year. It's called the I Did a Read.
That's right. It's in conjunction with the I Did a Rod, which is the actual dog sled race in Alaska.
That's really neat. So you're challenging families to read pages or minutes as fast as their musher travels the miles.
Yeah. They're racing their actual dog sled team in Alaska. So the race actually starts on March 1st, and families who accept this challenge can keep track of the minutes or pages they read starting March 1st, and we'll see who gets to 1,049 first.
And it's per family for the pages.
That's right.
It isn't per person inside the family.
So in other words, if mom and dad read to 3 or 4 kids at night, they can all count that as reading time. So if they read for 10 minutes and there's 5 of them in the family, that's 50 minutes of reading.
Oh, what a great way to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
That is going to be fun. And there's prizes?
That's right. Every child that participates can come to the library and choose a book to keep for their home library.
Isn't that a neat idea?
It is very fun. You know, Linda Fenton, who represented Waupaca last year as teacher on the trail, really brought attention to the I Did a Rod, and the kids are all excited about it. And so and we're going to mix in a little science and math with it this year too, because part of our theme for the year is Fizz Boom Read, which is about bringing science and technology and math into some library programming. So we're going to put on the Facebook page, library Facebook page, and email some of our families who are participating some extra challenges. Things like, okay, here's a good one for you. If there are 71 dog sled teams, and each one can have 16 dogs at the beginning of the race, how many dogs is that?
Well, let me see. That would be
exactly
710 plus 42 is 752 plus 16 is 768.
Or more.
I think.
Or more.
Or more.
And now calculate how much dog food you need for those dogs to run 1,049 miles and where you're going to put that dog food along the trail. Okay,
I have 3 labs, so the answer to that is a lot, because I feed mine and it's a lot and they don't work very hard.
Exactly. So there's a lot of science. There's a lot of math, and we're going to have a lot of fun bringing science and math to families in this challenge. So.
How fun is that going to be? That is fabulous.
And this Fizz Boom Read is really what is in libraries all over the state. It's our theme for the summer reading program, and we in Waupaca have extended that so that we're talking about it year-round. We're going to have in April an opportunity for kids to come in and make robots out of toothbrush heads. And we're going to have a maker space at the farmers markets this summer, so people of all ages can learn something new and pick up some new skills.
And the Fizz Boom Read is for the entire family throughout the entire library is nice too, because getting families involved is the key to getting kids reading.
And grandparents too. You know, I'm always inviting grandparents to include their grandkids.
Great.
And come together. So
sounds good. Thank you, Sue, for stopping by today. It's always good to see you. We'll see you again.
All righty.
Our next guest is Dr. Lowell Peterson, who wrote a book about World War II.
Angie, Master Stylist, operating out of High Style Salon on 6th Street in Waupaca. offering haircuts and coloring, nails, skin, and more. For more information, contact Angie at 920-850-3283 or email her. Angie, Master Stylist, proud sponsor of What's Happening Waupaca.
Our next guest today is Dr. Lowell Peterson, who wrote a book about World War II vets, but it's not just World War II vets, it's about local vets. So welcome to the show, Dr. Peterson. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I actually got a copy of this book several weeks ago and picked it up, and I could barely put it down. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm about halfway through. My husband did finish it in a matter of hours. It's very well written stories. So, you know, you talked with local vets and vets families and put this together. How did you come up with the idea to do this?
Well, I was walking through the cemetery up in Scandinavia, and came upon the grave or a marking, honoring a soldier from World War II who had been killed in action. And I knew that family, and I knew of him, and I thought I'd like to write his story. And so I gathered some facts and wrote the story just for my own interest. And then I thought the public probably would like to hear about this guy. And so I took it to the Waupaca Post, and they said, sure. Bob Cloud said, sure, we'll print it. And pretty soon people were saying, well, you ought to talk to so-and-so. And you ought to get so-and-so's story. And I started doing that and started writing those stories. And then I realized after I'd done about 15 of them for the Post that I had enough that maybe I could put a book together. So that was the start of the first edition. This is the second edition of the same book.
So I have to get the other one now.
No, this one has everything that was in the first edition, but it also has additional stories that I've come on since that time, and especially stories about the Holocaust that were not in the first book.
Oh, yeah, this was, I mean, it's very easy to read because they're just singular stories about different ones. I mean, it's just a few pages, so we can pick it up and read just one story and then put it down again in our busy lives. I think what I really like about the book, Dr. Peterson, is that I'm 50 years old. So I know of World War II, but I'm not World War II era. My husband is very interested in it because his dad was a prisoner of war. But unless you start reading about it, we don't hear a whole lot about it, and we don't learn a whole lot about it. And I was just blown away, and it's right on the back of the book, that there's 55 million people died as a result of World War II that are counted. It's probably higher than that.
Right.
Right.
And it was the greatest loss of life and conflagration that had occurred since the plague of the 14th century. And so, you know, it puts it in perspective.
Oh, it was a huge loss of life to have 55 million people dead in the 1940s.
The Russians lost 20 million, which was 10% of their population.
Yes. Yes, just amazing. But it goes beyond that. It tells us a little bit more. And to learn about World War II in a sense of seeing it from the family perspective, there's one story in here. I'm going to make everybody pick up this book. There's one story in here where a family lost all 4 sons in the attack on Hawaii that started World War II because they were all on the same ship.
It was 3 sons.
It was 3.
They were all on the same ship, the USS Oklahoma, in Pearl Harbor when the attack occurred, and they all perished. And they are Waupaca County people.
Yes, they are.
And you know, several others that I wrote about were either wounded or had loss of life from in the war.
This is absolutely, I really want everybody to pick this up and read it, because this is really an absolutely fascinating book to read. The stories, I mean, really hit home to all of us. So thank you for taking the time to put all of these stories together for us so we can enjoy it. Thanks for being here, Dr. Peterson. Enjoyed you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Max Johnson, who is going to tell us what SLAG is.
The Revival in downtown Waupaca prides themselves in providing above and beyond customer service. From small to tall, women of any age can consider the Revival your professional personal stylist, helping you find the right outfit for any occasion, weddings, senior pictures, or even a special night out. The Revival also specializes in home decor with a large selection and variety of items to choose from, including art from local Waupaca artists. The Revival, 111 West Fulton Street across from Farmer State Bank, downtown Waupaca. For more information, call 715-281-5100 or find them on Facebook. The Revival, home, art, and fashion. If you'd like to be a guest on What's Happening Waupaca, contact Josh at 715-258-4405 or email jwerner@cityofwaupaca.org. Full details at wintvwaupaca.com.
We have Max Johnson here. He's going to talk about SLAG and tell us what it is. Now, that is the Student Library Advisory Group.
Yeah,
correct?
That's right.
So what exactly is SLAG and what do they do?
Well, the Student Library Advisory Group tries to get students from ages 6th grade to 12th grade to seniors to get them together and read books, come into the teen room, which is in the basement of the library we have here, the public library. And we have programs in the summer. We have reading programs and games and computers and all sorts of stuff.
So is this it's on a Thursday, it's Thursday nights?
The first Thursday of every month is the Student Library Advisory Group, in which everyone on the committee, well, I am the president of as right now, and we all get together and we decide things about the teen room and like what to do, what new games to get, what new books to get, all that stuff.
Oh, well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because the library is getting the interest of the books right from the people that they want to read them.
I think 3 months we go out to Barnes and, well, once in a while Barnes and Noble, and we get books and also Dragon Wings just down the street.
That's great. So what else, what kind of programs do you have that you've decided to do for the...
On Wednesdays, we have the Reading Cafe, where we have chocolate and cocoa and all coffees and pastries. We all get together and you can either do your homework or you can sit down and read. And we have other programs like manga, anime, or sometimes card playing or board games.
And we talked about this a little bit last month on the show. It's a fabulous way to get teens into the library. So do you find a lot of success? Are there a ton of kids that are involved?
We have the high school, well, most of us are in high school except for one student who is the middle school representative right now. He tries to get the middle schoolers, the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, to come into the library so we can inspire the younger kids, but it's mostly just high schoolers right now.
That are a part of the SLAG?
SLAG or the teen room. You don't have to be in SLAG to come into the teen room. Any teen can come into the teen room.
Oh, that's great. And you have pizza night, if I remember right?
We do have pizza night. We have Pizza and Pages, which is practically a book club.
So I'm thinking I could pass as a teenager, so I could come in for probably
you have to be under 19.
What a great way to get students involved with the library and reading, and to have, I mean, if any of the people that are watching are students, what a great way to get your voice heard is to come into Teen Room and say, I'd like to see this from the library as well. So is there anything else exciting coming up this spring in your...
We're going to be participating in Fizz Boom Bang, or...
Fizz Boom Read.
Fizz Boom Read.
Sue just was talking about that.
We're going to participate in that with many different activities and games.
And that's physics?
Physics and science and math, but we're mostly just going to go around reading.
But you're going to do the physics and the science,
we might have
reading
some
and all
activities
of those
that will
kinds of
pertain
things?
to that.
And games and
lots of games.
Stuff like that to do. That sounds wonderful. What a great way to be interested in reading and to get together with the teenagers too.
Yeah.
For an evening or an afternoon. Thanks, Max, for coming on and sharing that with us. We'll share it with all of the teenagers that we know. to get them here to the library.
Hopefully they do come.
Absolutely. They will, won't they?
It's a great place.
It sounds like a wonderful...
Also, we mainly promote that we're safe environment, and it's very nice to, well, most kids don't want to hang out with places that aren't really safe, so we provide a safe, drug-free environment.
And that's really important, too, for parents to feel good about where their kids are, is to know that it's a safe environment as well. Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Jane Legault is up from Fox Valley Tech. She is going to talk about the Spring Extravaganza.
Internet service at Win TV provided by Waupaca Online, your local wireless internet service. If you're looking for an alternative to high prices, don't have cable or DSL in your area, not happy with the reliability of satellite internet or the low bandwidth limits of cellular, Waupaca Online is your answer. Locally operated, Waupaca Online features several speeds to choose from, local service, and many happy customers. Ready to make the change to Waupaca Online? Call 715-942-9919 or visit waupacaonline.net to schedule your free site survey.
We have from Fox Valley Technical College, we have Kate Zdroik here, and we have Jane Legault. Welcome, ladies. We are going to be talking about the Spring Extravaganza, which is a one-day block of classes. So these are some of the fun classes. I'm a student at Fox Valley Tech, but these are entirely different classes because it's a morning or an afternoon that you can just come in and have some fun. Right. So what day is Spring Extravaganza happening?
April 12th, 8 to 5 p.m.
Okay.
Right
so
at the Waupaca Regional Center on our bypass near the roundabout.
And it really is really easy to find.
Yes.
Right there, right off of 10 and A and whatever. So all of these classes are going on a Saturday. Now you sign up, there's this wonderful, I'm going to show everybody, we have, they have a wonderful flyer set up. You can go onto the Fox Valley Tech website. They also have a website set up just for Spring Extravaganza. And there are 23 total classes that are offered, so we're going to talk about just a couple of them today. It's one price, and you can choose up to 4 different classes throughout the day.
Yes. Actually, it's a little bit less if you are 62 or over, and it's a family-friendly event, so many people can bring their children and go to classes with their children. So it's a family-friendly event as well.
Well, how fun to be able to bring the kids along. You don't
Yes.
have to find a sitter that way.
Right, right.
There are a couple classes that there is an additional fee, if it's like a materials fee for some.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
I can get all of that information. I can also stop right into the tech.
Right.
Because that's
and
how I
it's
met
all
you.
in the brochure.
Great.
The additional fees go right to the instructors.
Great. So we have a couple of, there's 2 fused glass classes.
Yes.
I got that out right. There's the fused glass pendant class. There's 2 of them. Now, how are these made?
These are made by fused glass is putting glass
trying.
together, and then it actually melts onto itself.
Yeah,
and
we
that's
have-
done, and that's done in Mary Beisner's studio, and then you pick up your pieces the next week. And
These are fun. I mean, there's just all kinds of, these are great for springtime.
They're
Because there's
beautiful.
also all kinds of color. We also have the fused glass garden stake
Yes.
class, and this is my wrist. This is an example of that, and you'll be making the fused glass part of this in that class
it's
as well.
like a tile they actually make in the class. And this too has millefilori in it, which is glass that's all melted together and looks like little flowers already. And then it's put on here and then fused again.
Yeah, so I can have this just in time for my tulips to come up
Absolutely.
in August this year if we don't get spring. So there's one other class that I want to talk, or 2 other ones that we want to talk about. We have a Dutch oven down here, and I'm going to make you pick that up. Stay off the ice, folks. I broke my wrist. We have a Dutch oven here, and you have a Dutch oven cooking class.
Yes, authentic Dutch oven cooking, beans to gourmet. And we have a fellow coming who has an authentic chuck wagon, he will be coming and showing you how to do Dutch. He actually does Dutch oven competition in the southern states, and he will actually be coming and showing you how to do different kinds of things over wood fire.
Oh, how for the camping season coming up,
yes,
you can
do
cook
this,
something
all
besides
this,
hot dogs.
and all these wonderful things. Just wow your camping friends with these, all of these neat things that you can do.
We're not going to tell my husband about that cooking class.
Oh,
though.
really?
Yeah,
What's-
because
what's
I
his
don't
phone
cook.
number?
Yeah. Because I don't cook.
Okay.
And then we have the plant growers playtime. Plant
Growers playtime, yes.
Plant growers playtime class, and you're going to be learning about how to start new plants
Propagating plants from, like, I could take a leaf off here or take a part of a bud and then make my own additional flowers and additional plants from that.
Because that's really easy to do with things like ferns. I do that all the time, ferns and spider plants, but it's kind of fun to be able to know how to do that. So
Right.
there's that. And then Kate is going to talk to us about the gourd decorating beyond birdhouses. Did I do that right?
Yes.
So Kate, you are going to show us exactly how to go from the beginning to the end with a raw gourd.
Right. They'll all start with, and they can choose their shape depending on what they think they would like to make. These are bowls or shikaris or with shakers. They rattle. They'll learn how to clean them, sand them, prep them, and then they'll learn how to use some tools to carve them perhaps or cut them, and then they can make their choice of options for how they would like to color them or finish them.
Right, because they can make Christmas tree decorations. This one is engraved. This one is cut.
Yep, this is wood burned. That's a wood burn, and I
Okay.
just put those patterns on. Kind of, I could do it freehand, but we do have some shapes that they can follow or patterns they can follow as well.
And then we have this really neat basket here as well that's got all kinds of beading and almost like a macrame on it. So there's all kinds of things besides birdhouses. that
Right,
can be done with gourds.
there'll be lots of supplies for the embellishment. It doesn't necessarily have to be that they would be painted. You could add things. We'll have hot glue. You could embellish them by gluing things on. There'll be lots of ideas for people to work with.
What a great way to learn how to use something that we can grow in our garden.
Well, and
Outdoor
typically people
decoration.
think of the reason that the title is Beyond Birdhouses because people think of dried gourds as, oh, birdhouses. But there's so much more you can do with them.
How fun. That's going to be a really exciting day.
It is.
April 12th, it's a Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Right.
And there are 23 different classes that you can choose from there, so you can take the ones that interest you.
Yep.
Or don't. So there's cooking and there's crafts and there's all kinds of things. So take a look for it at the Fox Valley Technical website. You can pick up a flyer and that will bring you right to this website. So thank you, Jane, and thank you, Kate, for coming on and showing us all of this fun stuff we can learn about.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Josh Werner on the show talking about Electronics Day.
When you can't do it all, do what you can. Caring for others. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
We have Josh Werner here. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Joni.
To talk about the electronics recycling. Now, we've talked about this before, so things have changed up a little bit, but this is a really successful program that is put on.
Yep, it's mostly free recycling for most electronics. There's a few we have some fees on, and we can talk about that. But this is our 4th time holding this event here in Waupaca.
And the Chamber and the city are working together on this.
Correct.
And it's Friday, April 4th.
Friday, April 4th. Hopefully the snow's gone by then.
We're going to hope that it's warm finally.
And
then.
we're doing this one, the past ones we've done earlier in the morning, usually wrapped up by noon. And since we're doing this one this time on Friday only, we're doing it from 11 to 1:30. So businesses can participate because not a lot of them came out on a weekend. But then residents can swing into the Kmart parking lot, drop your stuff off on your way to or from lunch, and then go about your way.
So what all can we bring in?
Oh, almost everything. Anything from computers to old game systems to cell phones, stereo systems, keyboards, mice, cords, old copy machines, faxes, radios, microwaves. We accept free on appliances, including refrigerators, freezers, air conditioners, dehumidifiers. Those do have a charge of $20 a piece because there is a bit of a cost to have those properly recycled. We also accept computers, monitors, computer monitors, and TVs. Flat panel LCDs are free of charge, but the big box ones, the CRT computer monitors, are $5 each. Televisions under 32 inches, the big box ones, the CRTs, are $10 each. And anything above 32 inches is $20 a piece.
So the list is on not only the Chamber website, but also on the City of Waupaca.
cityofwaupaca.org.
So you'll be able to take a look at it. I think a great rule of thumb is that if it takes batteries or I can plug it into a wall, you guys can take it. It's a great way to get rid of a lot of that stuff. I know that I have a pile, I was telling you, I have a pile in my garage just for that, because I have to pay the dump in order to take it, or I have to take it to a special place.
Yep.
So this actually benefits the city and the chamber to bring it here.
Yeah, yep. And the other thing I'll mention, if you can't make it to this event, the other nearby option to dispose of electronics properly is to go up to Manawa, to the county's recycling center. They do take stuff there, and there's a charge for that. And there's a little bit of detail on the city website and the flyers you'll see for this event about that as well. So if you can't make it on the 4th, there's this option, and can't say it for sure, but we'll very likely do this again in the fall as well.
That's great. This is the 4th year.
Fourth time we've done it.
Fourth time we've done that. So it's been very successful in the past.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, Josh, for filling us in. We'll look for the flyers. We'll look for it on the websites as well. All right. Next, we are going to meet our pet of the month. We have Roy here this month from the Humane Society of Waupaca County. Thanks for joining us today, Roy.
Thanks for having me.
You actually are the president of the board of directors for the Humane Society, so you do a lot of work with them. And you're a huge proponent of the animals and the work they do, and you have a pit bull, and you brought Lottie today. So we wanted to have you on just to kind of highlight all of the work you do, as well as being a volunteer there. So thanks for all of that. We all appreciate that. You brought Lottie today. Tell us a little bit about her. How old is she?
She's about 5.
Yeah? Now, she's actually been at the Humane Society for?
Approximately 3 years.
It's been a while.
All right.
Now, she is, the nice thing about that, and what I'm going to say, is that she thrives very well in that particular environment. So at the Humane Society, she's actually a pretty happy girl. We still would very much like to find her a forever loving home.
Correct. And I wouldn't go so far as to say she's happy. She accepts it. She's tolerant. But you get her away from that environment, and you can tell she's just a whole lot happier, if you will.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. And she's look at this, how relaxed she is, which really I wanted to show, because the information about her, she's pit bull.
Correct.
And when I say pit bull to my home insurance company, or when people say the word pit bull, they think about all of the dog fighting dogs and all of the animals, and they're going to eat your kids and your cats, and that actually is not true.
Correct.
About pit bulls, right?
No, yeah, you're correct. If you go back to the 1800s, it was bloodhounds. In the 70s, 60s, and 70s, it was Doberman Pinschers, German Shepherds. This just seems to be the pit bull's time in the spotlight as being pegged a bad dog.
And it's really too bad, because just in the state of Wisconsin, hundreds of pit bulls are put down. I think it's every day in the humane societies and the shelters and everywhere, because they're almost unadoptable. And you can see from this how horribly relaxed. I mean, she's just relaxed. She's just a super terrific dog. Now, there was a test, a compliance test that was done. And I wanted to talk with you a little bit about this, because you know more about the test than I do. But I was amazed at how high the pit bulls scored on this. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it's a function test. I don't remember. There's a German name for it that I don't remember. They use it pretty much for the larger working dogs. They do test other ones. But it's avoidance, recovery from, different situations.
As far as just working with people and working in situations and how well they do.
As in walking down the street, a car backfires, or they meet another dog, or other people come up, just how they react, how calm are they, or how they don't react would be.
So the cool thing about this test is it tests them, because if I'm going to bring a dog into my house, I'm going to be concerned about how they're going to react with the other animals and people and all of this. And I want to highlight that the only dog on this particular test that got a higher score than pit bulls were labs, including mixed breed scored lower, golden retrievers scored lower, and German shepherds scored lower as well. So we're going to help get people to aware that pit bulls are a whole lot more like Lottie here, laying relaxed on the floor, than they are the dog fighters.
Oh, correct. I mean, they are a compact, very strong dog. They need a knowledgeable, responsible owner. And that's a lot of the problem. The CDC has documented this. It's improper ownership more than breed.
Right, because the people who want the pit bulls aren't the people that actually should have the breed.
Correct.
So, thank you, Roy, so much for coming on today. We'll probably see Monica next month, I think, but it was good to have you. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today for What's Happening Waupaca. We're here every month to connect you with what's going on in the Waupaca area. I hope to see you again next month on What's Happening Waupaca.